Welcome back to the NITE Economics YouTube channel. And today we're going to be talking about this alleged boycott of the World Cup in North America, in Canada, United States, and Mexico. If you're liking the content, please subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and let's get into tonight's video. So here I just searched this quickly, but essentially there's been at least the media is pushing it as a boycott of the World Cup over in the United States. And I do think part of that is true. I think there is a big portion. I couldn't tell you exactly how big, but a portion of people, particularly Europeans, and I live in Europe, right, that are boycotting the World Cup because of what's going on with the war, what's going on with, a lot of people dislike Donald Trump, etc. And I'm not here to say you should like him. I could care less for politics. I don't like left or right. I dislike either side equally. I dislike them all. Again, I do think that is a part of it. What I think, or what I think, what the media purposely misleads people is by not informing them all of the variables that lead to this type of situation where it appears that a boycott is happening. I do think some people do decide that they don't want to go because there's a certain president that's ruling that particular country. The other side of the picture that is not talked about is that unemployment is going up across the board in the United States and Europe. There's a lot of unemployment going on. When there is unemployment going up and the future is uncertain, people are going to cancel trips. Ignoring the fact that prices are getting ridiculous, of course, right? But obviously, it's not just one factor that leads to something like this, right? There's multiple factors. You have prices of gas and oil going up, and that's going to be reflected in the cost of flights. You're going to see um, even just a lot of price gouging, right? You're seeing like FIFA, like and resale of tickets being at ridiculous prices. These are some of the most expensive World Cup tickets for even just some very basic games and nosebleed seats at some ridiculous prices. I've seen videos where people are saying like just like the absolute worst seats at a game that doesn't really matter, something like $500 for one game. Right, you're looking at prices of hotels being extremely high, although they have come down to some extent currently because they are not seeing the surge that they were expecting due to an event like the World Cup that usually brings a ridiculous amount of tourism within the country that it's being held at. So you're seeing all of these factors. You're also seeing, like I said, unemployment. From another economic standpoint, you're also seeing the fact that I think the consumer is debt saturated. They have a lot of debt. They have low unemployment. The unemployment is rising, so a lot of people are becoming unemployed. Regular folk that would, mind you, now this is becoming such an expensive event that it seems like only rich people would go, but there's only so many rich people, right? So you're seeing all these different factors that are contributing to the the very very low projected attendance of this World Cup. Um, you're seeing, yeah. So you're seeing these different factors, and the media wants to make it seem like it's just a boycott of the World Cup because of a political reason. Many soccer fans aren't that political. They could care less. They just want to go enjoy their soccer match. But when they're debt saturated, when they don't know how they're gonna put food on the table, some of them have become unemployed, so they're not gonna go expend X amount of money on a luxury, if you will. You're seeing also, the prices being ridiculously high from travel, even intercity travel within um from like the bus fare within the cities. I've heard some cases of it being propped up significantly by the cities themselves. So you're seeing it's a multifaceted factors, or a multifaceted situation that's leading to a significantly lower um, projection of how many people are going to be attending this event. So when you add all these things together, you get this kind of a scenario, and it doesn't surprise me. And then you also add the fact that the World Cup is being held in three different countries, where normally in most countries it's localized to just one particular country. So you obviously had the one in I don't know why Korea, Japan was in two countries where they were small countries. You have Brazil, all of Brazil, the one in 2014, 2018, where it was 2018. Russia, I want to say it was in Russia, I think. And then there was Qatar, which was a relatively small country. And then we have this one in Canada, United States, and Mexico. And this is literally just all of North America. And then you add things like this, where like the the current administration in the United States has imposed this restriction for certain countries, and that includes Iran, Haiti, Senegal, and Ivory Coast. I don't know why Ivory Coast. That requires, if you want to enter to get essentially a traveler's visa, you need to put up a bond of $15,000. So it's like you add these things to it, and then it just makes it more and more difficult. So they're kind of like, in a way, like they're kind of like making it harder on themselves. In the federal government, the United States, is making it harder on themselves, and is purposely kind of making it so they don't succeed. It's a very odd situation. In my opinion, it doesn't matter who's in power, whether it was Donald Trump, or let's just say the Republicans, or the what are the other one? Conservatives, and the liberals, I guess. What are the Democrats, or the Democrats? You would have, in my opinion, you still would have seen uh, um, uh, a significantly drawback, or a higher or not as much demand that you would have expected in something of a World Cup, especially because right now the global economy, is not looking good. It's looking very weak. You're seeing unemployment starting to rise, and just the people's appetite for wanting to spend money on a luxury is going to go down. And then you add these other things. You add higher inflation expectations, prices of things going up, traveling, hotel staying, all of this stuff is all these prices are going up. So it's and especially also when you look at salary salary prices, or salaries across the board for employees, they're not really keeping up with inflation. So you add that, people are feeling less rich, so they're less likely to want to spend, right? So again, whether it was the Republicans or the Democrats in power in the United States, in my opinion, you would have still seen weakness going into this large event. But I do think that something like the war, and the thing that Donald Trump has done recently, with like just pushing wars all over the place, it appears to me, right? There's a lot of people that's gonna leave a bad taste in people's mouths. So that adds to the pressure, or the downward pressure, in seeing people wanting to travel to the United States. And then also you're hearing all these things about, like, I guess it's called the ICE, and I guess those are the people that are in charge of deporting people. So there's also some fear for some countries that if I visit there, they might just lock me up and deport me back to my country. So there's these are concerns for sure. But again, regardless of who is in power in the United States, beyond the political side, which I think it does play a role, but the media really wants to make it seem like this is the only and most important factor in people's minds. And in my opinion, people are willing to overlook a lot of things if they feel rich, right? If they feel like they got money. Could you imagine if there was a war going on, and people in employment was all-time highs? Employment, instead of going up, is going down, and people are earning more money. People are going to want to go to these types of events, right? So I don't think war and boycotting a president, if you will, is going, or a country is going to be enough to, especially for like soccer fans. Soccer fans are crazy. Crazy in the sense that they love their sports. In my opinion, it's a little silly, but whatever. They're gonna love their sport, and they're not really tend to be political people amongst them. Some of them are, but like at the end of the day, they want to see their favorite football star, their favorite country, just go crazy, and celebrate every goal or lack of goals that they might score. So yeah, so at the end of the day, there's several factors are contributing to the lack of demand in this event so far. I don't think it's going to be a big success. As a matter of fact, it's probably not going to be a large success, and I kind of hope it's not a success, because I think that these large events are largely overrated. Honestly, if you want to enjoy it, I think it's better to enjoy it at the comfort of your own home. In the past, I used to be quite a large soccer fan, and I always dreamed of seeing the World Cup in North America. When I lived in Canada, Toronto for many years, pretty much my whole life. I'm from Toronto. But when you look at things like the prices of some of these soccer matches, to me, it's not worth it. It's nowhere near worth it. Like I've seen some prices like $20,000 for like like a round of 16. I guess now it's like a round of 32 match, and it's like that's not worth it. The maximum I would pay for a match is maybe like $200. So yeah, so that's just my point of view on this current situation. It's multifaceted, lots of factors contributing to the lack of demand in this big event. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I missed anything, if I'm on the money, and if you're liking these kinds of videos, a little bit different than the usual chart videos that I do. So let me know down below. I can make a lot more videos of these. And again, if you're liking the content, subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and bye.